Hi all and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be getting into why you should play Battletech. Now this will be a bit different from my other videos in that I will be tackling this from a slightly different viewpoint. I have previously said nothing but praise for Alpha Strike and I still stand by it. Battletech Alpha Strike is still one of the best war games I have ever played. So let's jump into a more complicated view of a war game that fuels my impulses like no other. Now, Battletech is an amazing game, and on paper it is something I should love. However, the problem isn't playing Battletech. It feels like a game not made for me. Battletech is a war game with a heavy focus on mechs with beautiful, easy to paint models that are super cheap. It has everything I want or would recommend in a war game ever. Some of my personal favorite pieces of fiction are mech fiction, and Battletech continues that trend. From the current Transformers comic run to Gundam and Gurren Lagann, the Battletech books, at least some of them, are written on the same high standard as many of these things, and I love a few of them I've read. To be fair, I've only read 2 of the series so far, but their lore is definitely good. It is not necessarily peak fiction, but nothing needs to be peak fiction. That is just online internet nonsense at times. This has a good lore, a good system, and a good setting, and well-written rules as well. To set up my point of view here, I love Bolt Action, Age of Sigmar, and Cyberpunk Combat Zone. Those are my current repertoire of war games. While I'm playing Battletech, I encounter an issue, and that is the sheets. While I have now played enough to be able to look at a Battletech sheet and know how to read it, starting out took a while. Also, as soon as all my friends see the sheet, they pass and ask to keep playing Alpha Strike. Which is great, because Alpha Strike is amazing, and I don't blame them at all, as I have found my enjoyment of the rules of Battletech to be sort of unfun at times. Now, this is going to be most of the complaints I have towards Battletech right here. It is just a very complicated game that I technically know how to play now, but I kind of enjoy the more simpler, streamlined rules more. Now let's go into a lot of why you should still try it and why this game may appeal to you. The time it takes to play and learn Battletech is a lot, but it's also not a lot compared to Warhammer 40,000. For instance, you could probably learn Battletech within 2 to 3 games, and those 2 to 3 games would not take as long as one game of Warhammer 40,000 at 2,000 points. If you start off with 2 mechs and just start learning, those games aren't going to take more than 30 to 45 minutes. Once you start getting down, it would take you probably no more than an hour and a half at 4 mechs aside. Of course, this is all depending on your tonnage, etc., and this is not a universal rule. However, I have found normal Battletech to go by fast. Alpha Strike goes by faster for me for some reason, but I know that's just because I know the rules and the keywords way better than normal Battletech. And this goes into a separate point. Don't feel sad if you try a system and don't like it, because one of your favorites could be around the corner. For instance, if you don't like Battletech, try Battletech Alpha Strike. Don't like Shatterpoint, try Legion. Don't like Age of Sigmar, try Warcry. Don't like Warhammer 40,000, try a one-page rule version. Something you love could be right around the corner. I also want to highlight many of other Battletech's strengths. It is a fun and crunchy, yet surprisingly easy to understand mech war game once you know the keywords. The hardest thing is learning the keywords. And honestly, if you have a reference sheet near you, which many of the things come with, it's not as hard as it seems. It is so much fun to tear through armor with a lucky crit and ignite ammo, and those feelings are what keep me going to now. I still have a few people I play Battletech with, I just don't love it as much as Alpha Strike or other systems. It is also a system with rules in place, so it is theoretically possible to shoot a mech's arm off, then pick that arm up and use it to destroy the enemy mech. There are so many things you can do, and the clan versus inner sphere gives you so much variation in the mechs and the different types. The shooting rules make positioning so important, and having the piloting and gunnery skills be different adds so much build variety. The sheer number of mechs to choose from is overwhelming, but in a good way. There are surprisingly okay rules for a mixed combat unit, and while in my opinion infantry belong in Alpha Strike more than in Battletech, it is nice to have the option. However, tanks get love everywhere. Tanks are great. And to finish this off, not every system is for everyone, and it's okay if you think something is not for you. But it's also okay if other people think it's amazing. Objectively, Battletech has amazing rules, but I find Alpha Strike more fun and easy to play. And that's okay. The fact of the matter is, you need to find a game you find fun. Battletech will take you about $50 to $60, and you're done for a while. Buy their starter box and you're good. You'll have a game you can play with friends with a lot of variation for hours on end. I highly recommend you do that. I highly recommend anyone who's getting tired of the Warhammer 40,000 grind, play some Battletech. It's fun. It's just not for me. And I wanted to be a bit more sincere and honest in this video, and I hope it didn't come off as critical. I don't like it when people pretend that they like something when they don't. And this is my attempt at trying a more nuanced take of how I don't personally enjoy normal Battletech as much as I thought I did a year ago. And that's okay. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. I hope this did not come off as me harping and hating on Battletech, or as me trying to go the opposite too much. I would love feedback in the comments below. Have a wonderful day, all, and I'll talk to you all next week.